These skates cost 1,145 euros. Is it worth it? Let's talk about it. Hola YouTube, my name is Ricardo Lino and I'm a wheel addict. Today I'm going to share with you my opinions about the Adapt Hyperskate Gto Adrian deck signature model. This is a skate that cost 1,145 euros and it's probably the second most expensive skate on the market, sold stock. The most expensive skate is also by Adapt from what I know, but that's not what we're going to be talking today. Today we talk about this one right here, the GTO, which is the high-end urban skate, marathon skate, slalom skate. At least that's what Adapt say, but we will also discuss that. Now let's start by talking about the wheels. Every single Adapt skate come with 90A wheels. If you buy a stock skate from Adapt, they come with wheels of the hardness 90A. Now, if you're talking about aggressive skates, 90A, it's perfectly normal. But when you are talking about a free skate or a skate that you use for commuting or even for a marathon, 90A, it's pretty hard. So during my test with these 90A wheels, what I find out about these, it's just like Adapt always say, they want to reproduce like the racing car of skates. And well, that's basically what this is. It's kind of like if the suspension of your car has been shortened and made it like really hard so that you can feel everything, and that's exactly how it feels. It feels like it's not the most comfortable ride. It is very fast. When you skate with these wheels, you really feel that the skates roll really good, especially because I also have some high-end bearings. I have the 6-ball bearings from Symmetrics, which is a company also owned by Adapt. So they felt like they roll really, really good. And I have 84mm wheels in the front and 90mm wheels in the back. 284s, 290. They rolled faster than most of my 4x90, and I would even say that they roll faster than some of my 4x100mm frames or wheels. So speed-wise, they were amazing, but I really felt every single piece of the ground that I was rolling. But I also had a problem with this. So I've said it several times here on this channel that one of the things that I love about wheels is that when they're not very hard, I can feel that I have way more control with my slides. And for anyone that has been following my channel, you may know that I really love doing slides as a way of having more control on my skates, as a way to control the speed, and also as a trick. I really like challenging myself by doing slides. But I struggle to slide with these. And if you are a beginner at doing slides, you're gonna love them because they're very, very, very easy to get into sliding. Other wheels, as you may know, they're known for being a bit more slippery. Not every time, because that also has to do with the formula, and some brands out there can make a super hard formula that is super slippery, or super soft formula that is super slippery. But what happens here is that they start sliding really good. That's awesome. But the problem that I have with these wheels is that it's very hard for me to control the slides once I start going. And I would really say it's because of the hardness of the wheel. So once I get into the slide, very easy. The wheel. Is it bad? Not really. I don't think it's worse than the type of wheels that I use. I would just need to adapt for a longer period of time. Now, if I try to slide on a very, very rough type of surface, would be harder for me, because once again, easy to get into slide, but then it would be very inconsistent. While if I have a softer wheel, it kind of feels like the wheel will mold to the surface while I'm sliding. But that's a whole different topic, sliding, and we're talking about the skate. So yes, they roll super fast. The bearings are amazing. The wheels last long. I've been sliding and rolling around, and I have no wear marks on these wheels. So I'm talking about sliding on tar and all that, and they're just good. I don't feel any wear on these wheels. Some of them, yeah, most of them still have the line. So has the boot. The boot also has some lines, but I'll talk about those lines in a bit. Now, going from the wheels and bearings to the frame. So this frame, the Quattro S mount, makes this skate cost 250 euros more than it would cost if it didn't have this frame. So when you look on Adapt's website, you see the Adrian deck Hyperskate Gto signature skate costing 875 euros. But when you choose the Quattro S mount, the skate bumps up 250 euros more. Is it worth it? Well, as someone who skated with the Trinity mount from Powerslide for a while, I have to admit that I really like having more points, especially here on the side. So 1, 2, 3, 4, that's what Quattro means. But what does this do to your skating? Well, when you have a wider base of your frame in contact with your boot, what happens is that while you're edging, when you go from one side to the other, it kind of feels that your whole foot is actually controlling the skate. So every movement that you do on your ankle really goes to the skate. So it makes it very easy for you to edge if you know how to do the movement. Okay? It's more about if you are able to edge, to use the edges of your skates good, you will feel that this skate really works awesome for that type of stuff. Also very good for all the vibration that comes from the floor. I would actually say that it would be a lot harder for me to skate with these wheels if I didn't add a Quattro mount, because basically what's happening is that all the vibration is now basically spreading underneath my feet instead of staying just on this line in the middle. I really feel that having this mount is a cool feature for the skate. And also being called Quattro mount, it's not just because of Quattro 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. It's not just because it has 4 bolts, I would believe, but also because Adapt says that with this system you actually have access to 4 different mounts, meaning the 165, which is the most regular mount that you'll find on skates like this. You can also have the 195, which is something that you will find on mainly longer, like on marathon skates or on speed skates. Basically, you have one bolt here and the other one at 195 millimeters away from that, basically a longer mount. And then they also say by putting like a little adapter, you can use UFS. Well, if you don't know what UFS is, it's a mount that you use for flat frames. Basically, UFS frames are just flat. They don't have these raised heel like this one has. And the distance between the front bolt to the back bolt, it's 167 millimeters. So with this Quattro mount, you have these 3 mounts plus the Quattro mount, 1, 2, 3, 4. So Adapt is really proud of this system, and I really like it. Now, there are things that I don't like as much about this Quattro system. One of them being that Adapt really likes to talk about how centered this mount is. Aesthetically, it looks amazing. It looks really good, that everything looks like it's just perfect. Like if you look at the distance between the bolts and the front of the boot, it's really perfect. Everything looks like it's designer made. But the problem starts when you want to put other frames. Well, you guys may know, if you follow this channel, that I really love the endless frames. I've been using the endless frames quite a lot, and the problem is when I try to put an endless frame, it doesn't sit right. Of course, some of the endless frames have more adjustment than others, like the 90 millimeters, the 4x90 have more adjustment than the 4x84. But as an example, the 4x84, it feels that the frame is way too much to the back. So it just doesn't feel right. Now, in terms of performance, as I said, it's amazing, but if you want to change to another frame brand, it doesn't really work as well. So it kind of feels that Adapt is playing the Apple game on their phones. They're trying to come with their proprietary systems, which the Quattro is already their proprietary system, but it kind of locks you a little bit into their system. I don't think there's anything wrong with that, but I think you guys should be aware of that. If you're going to buy a skate like this, it's not going to be as easy if you want to use other frames on the market. I know that there are some videos here on YouTube from people that were able to use a Quattro mount adapter, basically just a little triangle that you use in between the frame and the boot, and they made some changes on those mounts in order to be able to use other frames. So basically there was uncentering the mounting of Adapt, and I don't know how Peter, the owner of Adapt, would be happy with that or not. I know that they're very active with people using the skates the way they design them, but the truth is people always tend to adapt, so that's something that will happen. So yeah, the frame is awesome. It's not the most lightweight frame, I would say. It's a 7000 series aluminum, which is it's a very hard type of aluminum. It doesn't have any cutouts, so yeah, this skate doesn't come very lightweight. Let me just show you the weight of the skate. This skate is, in grams, is 1,797 grams. And just for comparison, the regular 80 millimeter skate, and yes, it has smaller wheels, the regular Art Boot 80 millimeter skate that you will have on the market from several brands, this one is 1,535 grams. I'm not gonna say it's better to have a lightweight skate or it's better to have a heavy skate. Of course, we have a different frame, you have different systems, and that's just what it is. Also, these have bigger wheels, but also, and that's where we're gonna start talking now, this is a carbon boot. At least that's what most people think, but is it really carbon? Well, from what I was reading on the website and from the interview that I made with Peter, the owner of Adapt, about 4 years ago, I think, when I visited them in Holland, they said that they were using a material called Diolene. And if you go on their website, they said that this is a Diolene composite shell with an extra layer of carbon. Well, I was trying to learn a little bit more about what Diolene is, and apparently Diolene is some cheaper than carbon or cheaper than Kevlar material. That doesn't mean that that is the reason that why Adapt used this material. I do recall Peter saying that by using Diolene they would have a boot that would be a tiny bit more flexible than the regular carbon. But when reading on the website, I also see that Adapt is saying that the reason why they're using the carbon is to give it a little bit of extra stiffness or more rigidness, and also for the looks. I do not really know how the Diolene looks like, but I do know that most brands on the market that claim to have carbon skates, they are not, as most of us think, a 100% carbon composite shell. Now, Adapt does have a full carbon shell, which is called the Superleggera, and that's a different type of boot. Basically, they don't have the skin on the outside, and it's just like this one would be a plastic shell with a liner on the inside. The Superleggera is a boot that it's 100% carbon composite. That starts at 1,335 euros, and apparently you need to apply to be able to buy that boot, just like if you're buying a Ferrari. They want that skate to be the Ferrari of skates, and that's the Superleggera, which is 100% carbon. Now this one, as I said, it's a dial-in composite with the outside, I mean the shell, this part that we have here, and it goes all the way to the sides, and we're going to talk about it now too. This is a dial-in with carbon on the outside for look and rigidness. That's what they say. I did not cut these skates. They're very expensive. Even if I didn't pay for them, I do like them. They look nice. Now, what does that dial-in with carbon really does to this skate? Well, let's start by talking about the shape of the shell that it's underneath this skin. So if you look at this skate, you will see that there's no hinged cuff, meaning that just like, once again, on a skate like this, you will see this bolt here and this bolt on this side, and the reason why you have this bolt is because there's some movement happening here, allowing the skate to have more forward flex. Now, on this one, you do not have that. I do not see any bolt here on the side, and I also know that on the inside, the shell that we have underneath the skin is actually completely different. If I stick my finger here, I will feel it hard all the way up until here. From here up, there's basically no carbon. So the shell that we have will have something like this type of shape. It is here on the side, goes a tiny bit, because when I skated it, I felt the size of it. And then it is something that comes all the way up, and then in the back it goes lower as here. So what does this mean? Well, this means that by having these, I will call it lateral wings, or by having this cuff like this, the cuff comes really high. You can feel the cuff going all the way here. So this is supposed to give you a lot of support. And it does give you a lot of support. When you skate with this, especially integrated with this frame, you really feel that every movement that you do with your feet really goes into the wheels, and it really goes into the ground, meaning that you feel the skates interacting with your feet very good. A very supportive boot. But by not having this hinged cuff, you do not have the regular front flex that you will have on another skate. So Adapt likes to speak about a natural flex, that they say that you can achieve that natural flex by playing with your Velcros and also by playing with the X laces that come stock on this boot. Also, this is the newer version of the Hyperskate, the latest version, and now comes with a 45-degree strap, which is also going to have a major role in terms on how the skate is going to react and on this whole natural flex thing. You can lace them tighter in areas such as the top of your foot, the top of your ankle, to give you more rigidness here. If you put them very tight here, this is going to cut your forward flex. There's no way you're going to move these. Even if nowadays Adapt is using a slimmer skin. The material that they are using here used to be 2 millimeters, and right now they are using a 1.3 millimeter leather that is going to give you a bit more freedom in this skate. It's not going to be as stiff as it used to be back in the day. But if you tighten them a lot in the top, you will not feel a lot of forward flex. I know that a lot of people like it. Some people may not like it as much, but think of a ski. On a ski boot, you can't really have a lot of forward flex, and coming against the front of the skate will mean that your heel will come up, or the back of your ski or the back wheel of your skate will come up. So it's a different feel, once again, from the skates that I just showed you with the regular hinged cuff. So is it better? I wouldn't say it's better. It's different. It really depends on what you're expecting, or on how you're expecting your skates to really react to your movement. Do I like it? We'll get there in a second. I'll speak about how I feel about these skates more at the end of this video. Now, the newer version, this one right here, also has a detachable lining system. Let me try to take it out. This thing right here. In case you were wondering, this is, from what I know, only compatible with this version, with the latest version. Not exactly just these, but with the latest version of the GTOs that came out in 2022. This thing is, you can also find these on the aftermarket. I've seen it in black on the website for 90 euros. Yeah, it is a cool thing, because from what I know, people used to spend the money on this boot, and then after a while they would start ripping on the top, and there would be no way for you to actually fix it other than taking to a shoemaker or send it back to the adapt guys to fix it. Nowadays, you can actually just change this, and it's kind of like having a whole new skate. And this piece that I just showed you is also heat moldable. And now let's talk about the heat moldability of this skate. I don't even know if I can say heat moldability, but anyway, it doesn't matter. So what happened to me, my experience with this skate, when I first got the skates, I made an unboxing. I then put them on my feet, and I thought, how am I gonna do this? I don't know how I'm gonna do this, because basically I really felt that these skates did not fit me at all. These are a size 42, but it also says 278 millimeters. My feet is 274 millimeters, so it should fit. The problem wasn't really the length. The problem is that I have some elephant feet. So let me show you this. My elephant feet. By the way, if you like the socks, WHEELADDICT. We'll talk about that soon. If you look at my feet here, you will see some bone sticking out. I don't have very normal feet. So when I first tried to put these skates on, the pressure points that I felt on these, I haven't felt in a long time. The only other skate on the market that I felt this type of pressure points was the Hyperskate Gto. And it's a skate which is amazing, but it's 100% incompatible with my feet. And the reason for that is the Hyperskate Gto is not a heat moldable boot. So I have a lot of pressure points due to my feet, but it's not a heat moldable boot. So I sent a message to Peter, and he said, no worries. There's two ways for you to heat mold those skates. You can heat mold the lining if you go on lower temperatures, but if you go on harder temperatures, you can also heat mold the carbon. And by heat mold the carbon, you can really press it out. So he advised me to put them in the oven, and there will be a link in the description on this video on how to do it, because they did it. It's not worth it. I'm going to be talking about things that I don't know enough. I've done it. I put a 110 millimeter wheel on the inside, exactly what I wanted it to stick out, right here. And the truth is, it changed the skate completely. I was then able to put my skate on, tight the skate. I still felt that pressure. And Peter told me that, look, this is something that you can do more than once. You can really find out where the skate is creating a pressure point on your foot, and you can really pressure it out. I haven't done it again. So when I filmed for this video and the times that I skated it, I felt some pressure on my, I don't even know how to say, on my not normal feet. So I felt some pressure, but I do know that it's something that I can change. I need to spend more time on this, and this is something that I'm going to do. I'm gonna, maybe in 1 year from now, make another video where I speak about the skate and talk about what happened really 1 year later after having the adapt skates for 1 year. But the truth is, I felt some pressure points which were manageable. I know that I could put them in the oven. So, in a conclusion, do I like these skates? I do. Let me put it this way. There are some things that I would like to have them different. I did have to spend more time than I usually need, but it's a very unique skate, and it's not a skate for everyone. Whoever buys this skate, it's not someone that is going to buy a skate, skate it for 2 times and just change. Or if that's what you're expecting, it's not the right skate for you. This is going to be a skate that you're going to need to use and use and use. And from what I've been seeing, the more people that buy Adapt skates and they start using them, they really love them, but they need to spend time with this. There are things that I don't really like. One of them, the wheels being very hard. They were all really fast, as I said previously, but I would prefer a wheel that would give me a bit more control. The wheels are not bad at all. They are awesome wheels. I just feel that I can't have the control that I usually have on a softer wheel. The mounting being completely centered, I do like them. I do like them because they come out with a very good option of a frame. But if I want to use this boot for downhill, or if I want to use like the endless frame that I usually use, then it does create me problems. So I need to probably make some changes or need to adapt one of these plates that you can have in order to be able to use one of those frames. And other than that, it's a very, very, very good looking boot. And knowing that I'm skating with the boot from one of the best skaters in Europe who has been doing it for such a long time, such as Adrian, it is something that makes me happy. It makes me happy that a brand such as Adapt and Adrian joined forces to make this product. I like the colors. It's weird for me that the yellows don't match and stuff like that, but these are minimal things, and probably that was the goal. I don't know if that was the goal or not. I would prefer it to be the same yellow, but yeah, it's awesome. The truth is, when I got these skates from Adapt, when I first had the conversation with the guys from Adapt to have the skates for this review, they asked me if I wanted to make a custom skate where I could choose the colors and all these different things that I could change on the skates. And I said, no, I would prefer to have the stock skate that most people are getting. Now, the more I see their social media, the more I see people getting custom skates. So that's probably something that I'm going to do in the future. But before I get anything to do with a custom skate from Adapt, I'm going to need to skate these for a longer period of time. And then probably, as I said, in 1 year from now, I may be able to share my opinions of an Adapt skates owner 1 year later. Yeah, and that's it. With that being said, I hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you enjoyed this video, do not forget to subscribe to this channel. Make sure to leave me a thumbs up if you like it. If you didn't like something about this video, or if you have any other doubts about this skate, you can always drop me a comment. If you didn't like this video, you can always leave me a non-like, a dislike, but just let me know in the comments too what you didn't like about this video, so I can try to change it in another video. And if there's any doubts that you have about this skate or any other skate that I've been doing reviews, or that you have been seeing me skate in this channel or Instagram or whatever, you can always just drop me a comment, and I'm gonna try to answer as many as I can. And now, to finish this video, as I always do, well, don't forget why we all started skating. And that is because it's fun now. Cheers, and see you soon. Let's see those backflips. Let's see those straps flap. Somewhere